Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is Welcome to ShowSort. We're going to be talking today about what ShowSort is. It's a brand new website. You've never heard of it. It's one of a kind, and it's got a very interesting and unique purpose. So we're going to talk about what it is, who's it for, how to use it, what are the basics of it. ShowSort is a piece of software designed to streamline any kind of artistic performance. We designed it with dance studios in mind, so I'd imagine a dance recital, but could be for all sorts of artistic creators, and directors, talent shows, choir performances, anything like this. And the main goal with ShowSort is to minimize what are called quick changes. So if you've got a series of routines in a performance, the goal is to allow everybody enough time between their performances to change costumes, get ready, prep for the next thing. And there really aren't tools out there to do that. There are a few tools out there that can tell you for a show like this if you've got quick changes, if you've got conflicts. But there's really nothing out there that will help you create a full order for your routines so that everybody's got time to do what they need to do. ShowSort, it's a web tool, so it's in the form of a website. You can find it on Google. You could just search for ShowSort. Here we are right there. Or you can always open a new tab up here and just enter showsort.com, and that'll take you to the same place. Down here's our little cookie policy. Make your decision. I recommend accept, but that's just me. The one-of-a-kind dance recital planning tool that optimizes away quick changes. What does that mean? By the way, down in the lower left corner here, we've got our live chat feature. So anytime you're online, we're online. Drop us a message if you have a question, and we'll be happy to help you out. Whether you're trying out a free demo, whether you just bought a show and you have an issue, anything you need, just send us a message anytime, and we're always ready to help you. ShowSort, as we talked about, is about minimizing quick changes, giving people time between performances in a recital. And here's a visualization of a form of a recital. So this is 43 routines. Just kind of rotate through this like a clock. So here's routine number 1 at the top. That's the beginning of your show. And these little bubbles represent where people are going from and to. So in the first case here, we've got a bubble numbered 1 under routine number 1, and it goes with this little red line right to routine number 2. And that means there's one person who's in this first routine of a show, and they're going to go straight to the second routine, and that is not desirable. So that's what we call a quick change or a zero number change, because between routines 1 and 2, there's no time for this person. If they had to change costumes, if they had to prep for something, if they had to get coordinated with somebody, that is trouble. So typically when people try to plan out these shows, they do it by hand, and it's an extremely difficult thing to do. If you're talking about 20, 30, 40 different routines, and all those routines will conflict with each other. So you've got people, you move one routine. If I were to try to move this second routine over to give this person more time to change, another routine is going to take its place, and we're probably going to have another quick change. So this is a problem that has plagued dance teachers for a very long time, and we really know of nothing out there that will use the power of computing to help you solve this. So it's time to put away the sticky notes, time to put away the dry erase boards. Use technology as we brought it to you to save yourself some hassle. You'll save potentially hours, days planning out your show, because we can immediately tell you who's got quick changes. We can tell you how to reduce them. You can put all kinds of parameters in about how you want to design your show. And we're all about taking it from what we see on the left here, which is this chaotic, full of red. You basically plug your data into ShowSort, magic occurs here, and suddenly, after you optimize, you got a much cleaner schedule. So you'll notice this routine number 1 here, nobody's going straight from routine 1 to routine 2 anymore. They're going from 1 to 5 and 1 to 6, 1 to 7. So This has been an example of a show that's been optimized by the system where we have the same display parameters here, the same warnings, but after we ran our optimization on the show, everybody's got a lot more time to change whatever they got to do between routines. And so this is a tool that you plug in your own data, you bring your list of performances, performers, all that stuff. You bring us a file, an Excel file or a CSV file, and you plug it into our system. You configure your show, you hit optimize, and we take all the headache out of it and find you a great show order that is not going to cause you problems. So you can view this about page just to read a bit about that high level overview. Over here we've got a help page, for some frequently asked questions about how to import data, what our features are. You can take a look at that at your leisure. I won't go through it in detail right now. It's always changing and always being updated. Also, I want to mention this contact us if you have any questions. You can reach out to that live chat feature, or you can drop us a message on our website here. So just punch in your name, your email, and whatever you're struggling with. We will get back to you as quickly as we can, and we'll get it sorted out. So in order to use this tool, go back home here. So sign up or log in to use this lovely tool. Let's go ahead and do that. You can either create an account using an email and a password. So you can just give us your email, give us a password, or you can link with a Google account. That's my personal favorite option. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I've got a couple accounts logged in here. You log in, and now you've got your account. So you have a ShowSort account now, and you can now use our service. And then you're welcome to play around as much as you want with this tool. So if we have a couple options here, we can either create a new show, which is what you would use if you already had your data ready to go. But today we're going to more focus on a free demo just to show you what the system looks like and not worry yet about importing data. That'll be a topic for another video. So if I were to view my existing shows, nothing here. So again, I can create a new one if I've got my data, or just click here to say try a free demo. So really all you have to do to try the system out, create an account or log in, click try a free demo, and this will immediately create a show for you. So this is equivalent to having purchased a show, but it's free. You get to play around with it. So this is a show that's based on an actual dance recital from one of our favorite studios to work with. We've just, redacted the names or changed those out, but these are real routines, a real scenario. So this is a dance studio that has hundreds of students and dozens of classes, and this is just one of their shows. One service that we integrate with, a lot of people who use this service are dance studio owners, and they often use a service called Dance Studio Pro. So Dance Studio Pro lets you configure a show in their system under the Recital wizard, and it provides a CSV output, and we are able to take that data in directly. So if you're already using Dance Studio Pro, you can have a show set up in your system, and you can export it and bring your data into here, purchase a show on ShowSort, then you configure it, run your optimizations, and you get your show order. We have all kinds of reports for you, and you can export that data into CSV and Excel. So you can also punch it back into Dance Studio Pro. So what are we looking at here? There's a lot going on. First off, on the upper right, we got a little selector called Warn About N number changes, 1 number changes in this case. You can change this for your show anytime. So if you increase it, now I've got more warnings here in this graph. Red is a warning, green is a routine that's good, has no conflicts. So if you say I'm worried about 0 number changes, you can pick that, warn about 0 number changes, and everything in yellow here is going to be a no number change that we have to worry about. But you can configure this based on how complex your show is, what a typical change has to be. If you've got a performer who's in lots of routines, they may have a lot of 2 number changes, and so you may want to warn about shorter ones than that. But it's really up to you. And then this display up to 10 number changes, this is affecting this circular graph we talked about. So you can basically configure how many lines you see on here, who's moving how many routines at a time. So if I only wanted to see one number changes, then I see these little animations for dancers moving around. So this is a live version of that graph we saw on the About page earlier. And you'll notice that these bubbles actually move around. So this is a simulation of your show as it's unfolding. So routine 13 just happened, 14, 15, 16. And so those are 3 dancers who are moving over to routine 18 to perform next. And they're waiting for what they have to do after that. So you can kind of play around with this. It's a fun graph, a fun way to visualize what your show is doing. But it's really an easy, quick, color-coded way to see where are the problem areas in my show. So this free demo, the order we start with is arbitrary. This is basically like you punched in a show in Dance Studio Pro in any old order. You picked all the routines that you want to use, you made a show, and you haven't optimized anything, so you've got all kinds of quick changes. It's not in any sensible order, and you can see that reflected in this graph. So all these red areas are going to be quick changes and conflicts. So we've got 3 main columns here. On the left we have original show order, which is what you provided to us if you uploaded data, or in this case it's what the show started as. So this is kind of your home base. This is where you're going to configure everything that you want to change about your show. You can pick ordering of routines. We have got all kinds of features we'll talk about in depth in other videos, but this is your original ordering of your routines, which indicates what this graph is going to look like. And then you've got all kinds of ways to configure things. So just as a quick example, you can lock a routine in place. So if I want to say that this Lilac Fairy solo is the last item in the show and it doesn't move, I can use that little lock feature. So the original show order column here, that's where you're going to enable and disable all these different features to configure your show as you like. The optimized show order starts out looking just the same as the original show order, but when you start to use our system, and we're going to click this optimize button in a minute, that's going to start immediately looking for better and better versions of your show order. And so the optimized show order will show you what could we come up with, what did the system generate for you that minimizes quick changes and satisfies all of your criteria for the show. If you want to have certain groups of routines that come together, if you want to have an intermission, if you want things to be before or after the intermission, certain routines before other routines, all those features you can put in place. But this optimized show order is going to take all those things into account and give you the best possible ordering you can find. And this will save you so much trouble trying to do it manually, trying to do it with sticky notes or whiteboards or whatever it is that you might be using before this. And before we run our optimization, let's also talk about this graph down here. This is quick change counts. It's for the statistically inclined. It's a histogram, and basically it just shows you this is the length of change. And notice this is governed by display up to 8 number changes. So if we pick 8, we've got 0 through 8 down here. So this is saying right now that we've got 20 0 number changes in this show, which is chaos. I would not want to be backstage at that show. So if you click on any of these bars, you can immediately see what are those changes. This is already extremely helpful just when you've got your first show order and you can say, oh, where are my 0 number changes? You click this bar, you've got 20 of them, and this will list out who the performer is, where he or she is coming from and going to. So in this case, we've got a performer named Gabriela Ruiz. She's performing in Ballet 2, which is the first routine, and also performing in Music Theater 1, which is the second routine, which puts her at a 0 number change, and I don't envy her. That doesn't sound fun. So let's fix that. Got some reports down here that will generate more information about the order that we've come up with here, but we'll dive into that in a later video as well. So let's go ahead and just run some magic here. So I've got this show and I haven't put any requirements on it. I'm just going to let the system decide what's the best ordering. What can we do? So again, let's just take note. We're starting out with 20 0 number changes. 29 one number changes. This is not a pretty graph. So let's fix it. So all we got to do is just click this optimize button in the center of that circular diagram, and the system is going to go to work finding better and better combinations. Let's go ahead and kick it off. Here we go. And you can stop optimizing at any time, but notice every time we get an update, all these routines are reorganizing in the optimized show order. So already look at this graph. It's all green. We can even warn about 3 number changes. We've got just a few yellows here, those are already going away. We had 4, we had 2, now we have 0. So this means that nobody has a 3 number change in this show already. And we take a look at this graph down here, quick change counts. Look at this. We've already got only 2 people with a 4 number change, nothing shorter. So in these few seconds that I've been talking and this has been running, this system has already come up with a fantastic show order that is light years beyond what we had before. You can click stop optimizing at any time to keep what it's come up with most recently. And then you've got a couple of options. So again, this graph now reflects we have a much cleaner show order. Take a look at routine 1 here. The next places that people are going from routine 1 are routines 7, 8, and 9. They're not going from 1 to 2. They're going from 1 to 7, 1 to 8, 1 to 9. People from routine 2 are going to routine 9. It's just such a cleaner order. You can see, again, we're playing out the show as it happens, but all these green dots mean that people have plenty of time to change. So these dots of 1 here going from 26 to 34, that means you've got one person who was in routine number 26, and now they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers in between before they have to perform again. So you take a look at this quick change counts graph, and it's far, far better than what we had before. And it took no time. I mean, this was practically instantaneous. So note that in this optimized show order, you can click this little routine icon here. It's got the number of performers, 20, and a little icon. So if we click this, we can see routine number 1, and we get a summary of who's in it, where they're coming from, where they're going to. So in this case, we've got a bunch of people who are starting out at the beginning of the show. They're in this routine, and then where are they going next? Here's Chloe Garza. She's in this first routine called Game Time. And then her next routine is Fly Girls, which is number 8. And so she's got a 6 number change right there. Next person has a 13 number change. This little thumbs up here, end of show, means this person was in this routine and nothing else. And so they're good to go. That's all they were in. No conflicts. So all that green means that we optimized away all kinds of conflicts. And again, here's a case of a solo, somebody coming from the beginning of the show. Then they've got 10 numbers before their next routine of never enough. Now, when you've run an optimization, there's a couple of options you have. You can't immediately go back and reconfigure what you've done earlier. What you'll have to do is you either say, I want to keep working with this order that you just gave me, in which case I would say save as original, and now this becomes our starting point. Or you can say reset. And if you say reset, everything's going to go back just to the way you had it configured before. So if you run this optimize and you don't like the way that it turns out, you realize you forgot to change something or whatever, you can always change it later. But if you just want to toss out the results, you can stop optimizing, click reset, and you're right back to where you started. So you notice this graph down here is just like it was in the beginning. But what I'll do is I'll go ahead and run an optimization. Here we go. Let's go ahead and stop it there. And now I'm going to click save as original. And now you notice the routines on the left have reordered to match what the system just came up with. So now we've got this new ordering on the left. And that is our best working copy now. So you can now go in and manually you can rearrange things. You can drag a routine to move it. But look what happened. I dragged that one routine 4 spots up, and suddenly I've got a 0 number change. I've got a 1 number change. I've got 3 2 number changes, and I've got 3 3 number changes. None of those existed before I made that one change. And so this is where the power of the system really comes into play, which is that if you try to manually do this process of ordering these routines, it can be extremely difficult. It can cause conflicts nonstop. And so immediately I made this show order worse. I'll click optimize again. The system will fix it for me. So you're more than welcome to tinker around with this order. Definitely make any changes that you need. So game time, if you want to say that's the first routine, no problem. Just do that. But you can drag and drop these to put things in any order you like, and you'll see immediately you'll get feedback on what the impact is of those changes to your show order. So this is extremely powerful, just to know that if you were to move Fly Girls from number 15 to number 13, what's it going to do to the quick change situation? Drop us some comments. Let us know what you want to learn about in this tool. There's so much more. We're going to go over in other videos. We're going to go over these act restrictions. Groupings is a very powerful feature. And I also just want to address this graph on the bottom. This number here, it's a little arbitrary. It's basically just a number that says how good is your show order, how strong is it. The higher this number is, the fewer quick changes you have. And so don't worry about the actual specific number. This is basically just a way for you to see, as we run an optimization on your show order, every time there's a green dot, that means we found an improvement and we made it better. So this will give you an impression of how the system has improved your show order as you go along. And when you see a long series of purple dots like this, basically what that means is we found such a good order that we're having trouble finding anything better. There's always a limit to how good these orders can be. In a given show, everybody's going to have some number of changes. It's inevitable. And so it can only get so good. But basically the way the system works is we're always looking for something better. So you'll notice this, the optimization button has got this progress bar. And this is going to continue until if we get to 100%, that basically means, you know what, we've tried so many options. We haven't seen an improvement in a long time. This is probably your best order, given all the requirements that you've put forth. But you're always welcome to stop that, save it, rerun it. When it completes, you can run it again. And there's always a chance that we'll find something very obscure that improves the show even further. And so don't be afraid to keep using that optimize button. There we go. We just found another improvement that wasn't there before. So yeah, don't be afraid to just let it run for a while. And you never know what you might find. But again, these little clickable areas here will show you all your shortest changes now, our 5 routine changes. Now we just got another improvement. And so every time we see these improvements, more and more here, the optimization progress, it'll go back close to 0 once we find an improvement. And again, it continues on. And if it ever reaches 100%, that means, okay, we think that's probably the best, but you can always rerun it and you never know what you might find. So don't be afraid of that button. And our goal is to let you design your perfect show, minimize your quick changes, and save you a whole bunch of hassle. And again, as I said in another video, we'll talk about these reports, but once you've got your show order, you can view all kinds of reports here. You can download things in CSV, Excel files. These are printable. So if we have a what's called a quick change schedule, and this is basically a representation for every routine. It's like that one little pop-up we saw earlier, but it's the whole shebang. So this is your whole show. Who's going where they're coming from, do they have any conflicts? And if we do like a print preview kind of thing, each of these routines will be on its own page, and it's black and white for your convenience. We've got visual indicators instead of color as to where there are any quick changes or anything like that. So this is just one of many reports that we offer you that you can print these out, distribute them to anybody organizing your show. An extremely valuable tool. More to come, but that's just a quick overview of what ShowSort's all about. So please drop us a line in the comments section. Let us know what else you want to hear about. Let us know what your questions are, what was unclear, anything that I can answer. I'm here to answer your questions. I wear many hats at ShowSort, so if you've got a question about it, I've probably got an answer for you. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.